All right, so now we're going to move into some opening remarks from the BDCP agencies. First, you'll hear from Steve Culberson with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Then you'll hear from Mike Tucker with the National Marine Fisheries Service. Then Carl Wilcox with the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. And Laura King-Moon from DWR. So they'll come and address you from the podium.
Good morning to the panel. Welcome back to Sacramento. Good to see all of you again. Thanks for participating in this little venture with us. And thanks especially to the ICF team. You guys have done rather yo-persons efforts over the past several years, and we appreciate very much your input. As Peter suggested, my comments are going to be limited to the science behind the effects analysis. I am an estuarine ecologist, a systems ecologist, and while I have some notion of the regulatory responsibilities for the service, if we wander off into that, I'm going to have to defer to other people. So my opening remarks regard just the science that we're here to evaluate today. As a reminder, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has been providing technical assistance to the Department of Water Resources and ICF as they have developed the BDCP to help them formulate a credible effects analysis for the BDCP. As one of the ESA implementing agencies, the service's role in this process is to provide technical assistance during preparation of the plan. When the plan has been submitted in final form, the service will evaluate whether the HCP can be permitted by both the service and by the National Marine Fisheries Service. If it is, the services will issue a permit which may contain terms and conditions needed to ensure the plan's success. For example, the permit might authorize only a subset of the plan operation alternatives contained in the decision tree and clarify the role of other alternatives in the adaptive management mechanism. The service has articulated an approach that the plan should contribute to the recovery of listed species covered by the plan. Achieving that result will require careful selections of goals and objectives, a functional adaptive management mechanism, and the resources to allow plan operations and conservation strategies to be adapted to meet foreseeable challenges over the lifetime of the permit. As a key client for this review, the service has participated in the formulation of the charge to reviewers and has provided certain materials for the panel's consideration. The service also has participated in technical discussions with the Department of Water Resources and ICF that were intended to implement panel recommendations from earlier phases of the review. The service is interested in the panel's thoughts on the overall quality and framing of the effects analysis and the degree to which the effects analysis effectively responds to the panel's earlier critiques and recommendations. Topically, we are interested in the elements of the analysis that focus on project effects on aquatic, terrestrial, and avian species. The latter two groups include the salt marsh harvest mouse and giant garter snake, as well as the sandhill crane. The service is particularly interested in the quality of the effects analysis as it pertains to tidal marsh restoration on the tidal marsh restoration for delta smelt and longfin smelt. One element of the charge for this phase of the review pertains to the question of tidal marsh restoration effects. We hope the panel will comment on the following items. A, the strength of the scientific evidence brought to bear in the marsh restoration analysis. B, the quality of the analysis and lessons learned from unintended restoration experiments that have occurred where delta islands and marsh areas have been inadvertently flooded. C, the panel's assessment of the effects analysis and its conclusions regarding ecological processes in restored marsh areas, including estimates of primary productivity and the fate of such production, the degree of the expected habitat occupancy by covered fish species, and the export of primary and secondary production from the restored areas into adjacent channels and downstream. And finally, D, the panel's assessment of the confidence that we may have in the substitution of restored habitat for delta flows, and whether the effects analysis reasonably captures the state of the science on the likely role of marsh habitat restoration in such an exchange. Finally, thank you for the panel and, as always, to the Delta Science Program for facilitating this review. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service will continue to work with the BDCP proponents and our other partners, stakeholders, and the public to inform development of the Bay Delta Conservation Plan. Our mission is to work with others to conserve, protect, and enhance fish, wildlife, plants, and their habitats for the continuing benefit of the American people. Good luck today.